watch the haters side by. Thinking that we're legends, got the city on the rise, talking self-care. House moves, watch the energy multiply. We stay winning, yeah, we're doing our thing. Big dreams, big bang, let the money just rain. No stress, no drama, we just elevate. If it ain't love, then it's out the way. No complaints, we just shine. Living life, getting paid, feeling real divine. Real talk, real vibes, real ones in the place. With Christy Chanel, yeah, we say.
Hey guys, it's your girl Christy Chanel, and this is episode 3 of No Complaints Podcast. I'm so happy that you guys tuned back in. We are here today with Professor Alex Pley. He is straight from Seneca. Everybody welcome Alex.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So Alex, it was a blast having you last semester in school. And I just want to get into some personal and reflective questions with you, if that's okay.
Awesome.
So let's start with what you do for a living.
Sure. I do a lot of different things, but I am a professor in the behavioral studies programs at Seneca Polytechnic. Represent, wearing the sweater.
Right. Wonderful program.
Yes. So I teach there. I also run a psychotherapy practice called New Point Psychotherapy. And I'm also a musician, and I'm sure I could go on and on. I'm a dog dad.
Ooh.
That's what I do.
Ooh,
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
His name is Sodi, and he's a rescue. So he's like part Chihuahua, part Spaniel.
Oh, he's small.
We're guessing. Yeah, he's like 10 pounds.
Oh, I love a small dog.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you do music as well?
I do. Yes.
What do you play?
I do. I play guitar in a band called Low Heaven.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I gotta check that out. Not you withholding information.
I know I don't really talk about it in my teaching job, but yeah, that's what I do in the evenings, and
I'm definitely gonna look into that. So would you say that's one of your passions? Music?
I would say so. I've been playing music a lot longer than I've been teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love music too. Okay. And we're just going to dive right in.
Cool.
What do you think the biggest issue facing Toronto is right now?
That's a tough question, because I think there's a lot of tough stuff happening in Toronto right now. I would say the housing crisis is one of the biggest. So I'm a social worker, and seeing the housing crisis expands to so much more than just it's expensive to buy a house. The houseless population in Toronto is massive. The shelter systems are so underfunded and basically collapsing. What is available is filled with violence and drug use.
Definitely.
And there's just such a crisis on so many different levels with that. I would say that's the biggest thing, but also you can make a huge argument for a lot of different stuff.
Right. I definitely agree with the housing crisis. It used to be invisible. Now it's so visible. It's so easy to notice that.
Right out in the open,
right,
everywhere. When I moved to Toronto about 9-10 years ago, Dundas Square was robust and vibrant, and there was a lot happening there all the time. And now it's kind of scary to go down there. Going down with my fiance and my puppy, it's kind of have to pick him the little dog up, and we brought him down there to train, to be around people before, and now it's it's not really safe to just let him be on his leash walking around.
That is true. The other day, my one of my friends was talking to me, because my daughter, she's 11 now, turning 11 on the 29th of May. Yay. Yep. But
very cute.
Thank you. But she wants to walk home from school by herself, and she wants to. I live in midtown Toronto, so young Bayview-ish, young and Ellesmere-ish, and I was thinking when I was her age, I was doing a lot of things by myself. I was going to the mall. I was going to Yorkdale from my house, which is a distance, and now I don't feel okay with her walking from the lobby to the store outside, just because you just encounter so many different people that aren't supposed to be there on the way to the destination. And her mind is so people are just so nice. And this is just, but it's I don't like this. And I'm am I sheltering her? Am I caging her? Am I doing this wrong? But I'm
I know it's a very weird thing. I live relatively close to you at St. Clair and Yonge area. And there's a little spot where it's pretty good most of the time, like right around where I live. I live like right beside like all the fancy rich people that live right there. And so I get those benefits of like it's very clean and it's very like nice, and the police are there like immediately if something goes on. But there's also like there's so much mental health everywhere. Like a lot of people are really struggling with like not just like anxiety and depression, like it's schizophrenia and like people that are in active psychosis and people that are living outside all winter because they don't have the capacity to engage in any services that would, or, you know, even if there are any services available to them. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of theft.
Yeah,
There's
a lot of people discharged from the hospital to nowhere. They're just outside. I'm like,
yeah. And the system is very much geared in a way that is not allowing for progress to really take place.
Right.
There's been some weird swings politically that have happened in the last little bit where there's a lot of people that are getting arrested. So my brother-in-law is a police officer in our area, and it's really scary to hear about all of the stuff that's happening where people are getting arrested for like pretty gnarly, you know, crimes, and then they're back out the same day. You know, the system is really in so many different ways very not okay right now.
Very flawed, and it's noticeable.
Yes, especially living there. And I agree, like I don't know if I would let my 11-year-old daughter walk around in the same way that, you know, even 10 years ago it might have been different.
Right.
But, you know, walking around in the little area might be okay, but I also don't know if I'd be comfortable with that. I definitely wouldn't be okay with my puppy doing it. So yeah, that's my kid.
I try to explain it to her, but I'm just like, you don't get it. And at her age, I didn't get it either, but it's such a different time from when I was a kid till now. Like it was scary then, but it was nothing like now. Like even with a cell phone, I don't feel safe with you going.
Yeah.
I'll take you, I'll drop you, I'll pick you up. Your friends want to come, we can bring them, but I just don't feel like there's a parking garage right next to my house where it's down in the lowest level that's parking for my building, but the top is for public parking. And I swear, if you do not lock your car, I guarantee it is gonna be all scattered by the time you get back. And I'm like, it's guaranteed. Like I've had friends who come and forget to lock their car, and each one is so and I'm just like, it's like people are just waiting and watching, which is terrifying.
They are. I know somebody in our area that had their car stolen last week, and it wound up on the news of like somebody used it in a crime spree and just like left it somewhere in like that's what's happening everywhere in our area. So it's, even though we don't necessarily run into it every day, it's very prominent to a place where it's like, yes, I'm sure if we told your daughter to go to Yorkdale, for the most part, I guarantee she would be fine. Right. But there's just enough of a chance now that she wouldn't be, that it would be irresponsible for us to be like, as adults, to be like, yes, you should go do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it's not just me.
Yes. It's not just you.
It's not just me.
It's not okay right now.
It is not. I'm going to take her everywhere until she's 25. I'm going to be picking her up and dropping her off.
And she'll just have to deal with it.
Right. You know what's so crazy? Which is going to bring us into our next topic. But the other day she actually wanted Burger King because like of the area, all the drive-thrus there's no drive-thru. Yeah. So you have to get out the car and walk if you want to go somewhere.
Which is a bummer.
Which is, it's exercise. Yeah. It's crazy because when you drive, it's like you barely walk. So when you have to walk, you're like, oh my God, people.
I know.
People do this. This is burning. But
well, also downtown, like getting out is like
finding parking.
Tough. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's parking. It's the worst.
But I went to Burger King. I parked in this little back alley, had to walk through the back towards the Burger King. And like, this is my first time. Like I've seen a lot of things, but I've never seen active drug use. Like little drugs, the little stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I've never seen active pipe use. And I saw this little boy, he looked like he was like 19, and he was sitting in the way of the stairs to get back to my car. So I had to go, but I'm like, shit. Can't go around him. Had to. And he had a slushie in his hand. It was like falling over. He had a pipe in the other hand. And his face just looked like breaking out. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I remember when this was a secret. Like, you never did it outside. You only heard stories. And now it's so like right there. Like this, I'm pretty sure kids pass by here. Yep. And like you're half passed out. Like, and like,
he sounds like a kid himself.
Right. And I was like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, his slushie spilt.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when did Toronto get like this? Like for people that are visiting, like this is atrocious for it to
I know.
just be so in the open. Like it used to be so hidden and now it's just in your face. Like, yeah, Toronto as a whole has a drug problem.
It's really weird. Like when I was a teenager coming down to the city, like playing in bands and, coming down for like Friday night to go and like play it wherever, walking home, like that's when weed was still illegal. And it was very like, if somebody was smoking a joint outside, it was like, what's going
Right.
on? Is somebody going to arrest them? Like,
right.
and it's so different now where weed is legalized. So it's just everywhere all the time, very out in the open.
Right.
But like just before this, I was out in Yorkville and like with my family, walked by some lady that was smoking crack, just openly in like one of the most, wealthy areas in Canada. It's like very nice there. It was outside of like the Dolce and Gabbana store. And like it was, or Balenciaga, I don't know brands and things like that, but it was one of the fancy, brand places. And she was kind of like, wigging out, it was not okay.
Right.
It was not okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Very different.
It's
Very
very
different.
Very different. I can't just be like, I'm going to hope for the best and let you go. I'm not going to hope for the best because it's not the best out there right now. So I'm going to take you. I'm sorry because I feel like it's taking away from her childhood. Like you want to go to the park and play. You don't know if your mom behind you. Like I was always outside.
Yeah.
Me and my sister
too.
and my brother were always outside. And my mom wasn't worried. Like obviously every parent worried, but she wasn't worried at all. We had our fun. She even used to send us to the mall to go grocery shopping at my daughter's age.
Yeah.
Her, I barely trust her taking the elevator. When I tell her to take the elevator downstairs, my heart's even, I'm watching her on the cameras.
I know. I grew up in the suburbs in Oakville and so different, but also like the rule when we were growing up was like when the street lights come on, go home.
Right.
And there was no contact. I was just in the woods from like 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. and would go to the convenience store and get some candy. And that's all I'd survive on the whole day. And then I'd get home. And now it's like, I could not imagine, like, I don't have kids, but I can't imagine as a parent being like, yeah, go do that same thing.
Right. Even with a cell phone.
Yeah. Even with a cell phone, it's just not the same world.
Right.
And I think that's scary.
It is. It's robbing kids of that freedom I wish they could have, but
yeah,
I'm going to be that parent. I'm going to be everywhere you are.
Yes.
Parents don't feel bad. Okay, let's talk. I have a lot of friends who are right now trying to transition out of smoking weed every day. I have friends who smoke continuously through the day, like as soon as they wake up, a couple hours after that, a couple hours after that. I do have friends that just smoke in the morning and the night. Either way, they want to stop or like drastically cut down. With people who are smoking marijuana and have smoked weed for a long time, I've seen that they are not themselves when they don't have the substance. It's either they're irritable, they feel like they can't eat, or it's just a lot of things, and it's a struggle. And most of them aren't able to stop or completely or at all. There's little progress. 2 days they'll be able to cut back. Day 3. They're like, fuck it. Yeah. I'm just going to smoke. What insight do you have on this topic? Because they need some help. They do.
Yes. And I think a lot of people do. So I teach part of the addiction class at Seneca. I've worked at treatment centers for a long time. I'm a certified addictions counselor. I'm in recovery myself from addiction. All the stuff I share with you guys is my students. Thank you. But yeah, I smoked weed every day, all day for like a long time, at least a decade of my life. And it is, so I haven't smoked weed in 10 years, maybe 11 years now. And it is crazy how different it is now compared to when I smoked weed. And so I think that's part of the issue. There was people that like myself that like I had a problem, but I was still functional with weed. My main thing that brought me down was something else, but weed was a big part of my story, and being able to engage in life while smoking that amount of weed was still possible. But what happened, I think, when legalization took place, which I think is a good thing, but it's just a much bigger conversation than just, is it good or bad that took place? What happened was the access to weed and, marijuana products became so much more available to everybody, not just 19 plus, but everybody, young kids as well.
Right.
And when I was at the end of my weed smoking career, if you want to call it that, shatter or the dabs, like the wax was very that was new, and that was very special, and it was not something that was normal. And now I have clients that I see pretty consistently that are walking around with dab pens that are like the highest level potency possible, and like stuff that when I was at my height tolerance, I would smoke it and go and be like I was high for the first time. And so I think that's one of the bigger issues when it comes to like the macro level policy stuff of like, it's a different issue now than it was even 10 years ago, where it is not just about people are smoking weed, they're smoking something that is almost a different drug than what the weed was 10 years ago. It's so potent. So when people are trying to stop that, it's a difficult conversation to have, because informing people and educating people on what the difference is of like these incredibly high level THC, ways of ingesting marijuana, and letting them know like what you're doing is you're not just smoking weed, like you are changing the way that your brain works. Not that smoking weed before wasn't that, but it is a much more drastic change. And so the level of substance abuse that's taking place with it, I think, is much higher, and the capture rate is much higher. The level of just the level of engagement that people have with needing the drug, of like, my brain only works this way. I know we just talked about it before, but like the withdrawal symptoms of like not smoking weed now are like much more intense than they were previously. And so withdrawal generally with weed, and even in like the DSM-5, which is like the medical encyclopedia that, all medical professionals use, like it is the most updated thing. It is not up to date with what marijuana is now, and like the effect that withdrawal has, that detoxing from ingesting these drugs has, where like previously it was like you're gonna maybe have some trouble sleeping, maybe you're gonna have trouble eating, maybe you're gonna be a little irritable, but like historically, not smoking weed was not on the same level as like if you are detoxing from drinking every day or using opiates or something like that. Like that's super intense. Historically, marijuana was like, you're going to maybe have trouble sleeping. You're going to maybe miss a meal or like not have an appetite. Maybe you're going to be a little irritable. Now it's like full on, like, you're not going to sleep for a little while. You're going to maybe even get the shakes, and like, irritability is going to be massive. So I think your initial question was like, what do people do? And I think that question needs to be answered by like, get help. It's not the same as I'm just gonna like quit sugar and like not be eating like McDonald's or something like that. It's more intensive, where I think professional help is the way to go. And I will say that if there's any students watching, that there is free therapy for students in Ontario right now. It's available, and we'll plug that later, but that's something that I would say is, you kind of need some actual help with it instead of just willpower.
Okay. For those who do not have access to such resources, what do you think good steps would be in dealing with anxiety that comes with not smoking? Because I do think with a lot of willpower, it is possible to slowly decline and stop. But I feel like a lot of people start for a couple of days, they cut back, then shit, I need to smoke, and then they smoke, and then they
Yeah.
give up, and then that's it. What can they put into use to help them get past that part, even if it's just a small suggestion?
Yeah. That's a good question, because you're right. There's not, like, yes, students have access to some of this stuff now, and that's amazing, but there's a lot of people that have zero, right? And so the answer can't just be you're screwed, go find some help. I would say that understanding, the first step in that is understanding what's happening, where like brain chemistry has changed. The way that the brain works has changed by ingesting this substance for a long time. And so understanding that the process is not just I'm going to stop smoking weed, it's I have to change the way that my brain works. And so focusing a lot on self-care. And I think that is one of the like most underutilized tools, even though it's a term that gets thrown around all the time. Like, I'm going to go engage in self-care, go, take care of yourself, but really focusing on it, because weed makes us feel good. There's for some people it doesn't, but for the most part, people that are engaging in it that have addiction or substance use issues or whatever you want to call it, their brain has changed to a point where they can't enjoy things unless they ingest weed, right? So stopping weed, kind of have to kick our brain in the ass a little bit and go, no, you're supposed to enjoy eating McDonald's. You're supposed to enjoy the sunshine. You're supposed to enjoy petting a puppy and like playing video games or, whatever. For everybody, it's a little different, but putting extra emphasis on like, I have to show my brain that good things feel good.
Right.
To put it very simply, that's where I'd start.
Okay. Those are great steps, because I feel like people don't know and they don't do, and that's it for the I'm gonna stop smoking for the next couple of months until I'm gonna stop smoking again, and then it's just a repeated cycle of not really stopping.
Yes.
And I feel like, as much as guys, because I do have a lot of female smoker friends, I am one of them, but I have many male friends that either want to stop or have tried, and I feel like even though they don't talk about it and make it known, I do feel it's like a blow to their ego when they say something, put it up, especially when they make it verbal, like, hey, I want to stop, and then we watch it not happen, and then it's like, it's discouraging to even say it again. It's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna stop.
Totally. Or even talking about it. I think the stigma around it is like, the stigma hasn't caught up to what the state of like smoking weed is right now, where the stigma previously was like, if you wanted to stop smoking weed, like, why? You can't handle your weed?
Right.
But now it's like, well, no, like it's so potent. Like, I can't enjoy myself anymore. And the like smoking a dab pen all day long, every day is like, the level of tolerance that happens from that pretty quickly is like, yeah, you're smoking it all day just to feel not bad. It's not even to feel good or high. Like, that doesn't exist anymore. It's just, I am in withdrawal when I don't hit this. And like, that's a terrible state to be in. Right. And so the old like stuff is still around of like, well, you should just get it together and be a little stronger, and like, weed isn't that big of a deal. No, it is a big deal. There's a lot that has changed, and it's crazy potent, and it is destroying people. Like, young people are having their lives destroyed by it because they don't know what to do. They're stuck in this like pattern of, I have to smoke to not feel bad, but also I don't feel good, and like and nobody around really seems to understand that,
especially the parents. If you're a parent of a teen and you're watching them go through these things, like, you don't really get it. It seems so much easier said than done. And now you don't know what to do. You feel kind of helpless because, like, now what? It's like, we tried the steps aren't working. Now what? I don't even understand. It's like, a mom will be like, I don't understand why he's upset, why he's so angry. The whole time it's like, he's trying to stop smoking, and this is now how he feels. Because he doesn't have this to help him deal with the emotions that it used to help him deal with.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no coping mechanism involved. There's no like.
It's funny because Black people, I don't think we know what that. I don't even think most of us know what that word means. It's just stop, do it. That's the advice.
Totally.
That's the advice, and it's like, it's
be
not
better, do better.
Yeah, it's not that simple anymore.
Yeah,
and it's
not that it ever necessarily was,
right,
but it's way harder now.
Right.
Like, it's a totally different thing now.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. Okay. Opioid use is on a rise in our city. I'm not sure if everybody knows what an opioid is. Would you like to tell them what it is?
Sure. So an opioid is a drug that is on a very basic level. Um, it interacts with our brain in a way that helps our pain not be felt.
Right.
That's a very basic way to put it. But basically, it attaches to opioid receptors in our brain to like make pain not really happen.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So for you guys, that's like Percocet, Vicodin, heroin, fentanyl. They all fall under that nice little group
Yes.
of opioids. Do they have any impact on the brain at all?
Yes.
They change?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Okay.
Very, and I think like a lot of these substances, like it's kind of similar to weed in a way where it can be used as a coping mechanism to like not feel things. And that becomes the only way to deal with anything uncomfortable. Opioids are incredibly addictive. The capture rate is really high, and it's so dangerous. It was also something that when opioids started to come out, there's some really great documentaries on, not even documentaries, just like series.
I think
on,
I
like,
watched them all.
Yeah, they're
It's like people who hurt their back at work, fall off a truck or something,
Exactly.
and then they get prescribed, and it's like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden it's like,
and
oh
they're
my God.
stuck, and it's like it makes sense that from a medical standpoint that, oh, you're in pain, this pill will help with your pain, but there's so much danger associated with it. It's
And no
so
real
effective.
warning.
No, and you know, the one of the reasons why it's so widespread right now is because at the beginning when opioids were discovered to come out, there's this I won't go into the whole thing, but the Purdue family
Right.
with like
Purdue
OxyContin
Pharma.
and things like that. Like OxyContin was the first big one that was prescribed, and it came with a label on the bottle that said non-addictive, which was a straight up lie. They were able to manipulate and pull strings and throw money at things where the regulatory system in the US put this on their bottles. And so it was given out as a miracle drug, and pretty clearly we know it's not a miracle drug. It's incredibly dangerous. Yes, it can work very effectively for like dealing with pain. And it's still used very actively all the time, but it's way overprescribed. It is so easy to get these pills or, you know, medications in some way. And it's really, really messing up like North America, but like the world at large. It's scary.
It is. I heard something in a lecture not too long ago where, and it's crazy because sometimes when you're not in the right rooms, you don't have access to the right information. Kind of just getting it here and there as you go. And I heard a professor say that sometimes people who have active addictions, their body is also fighting within itself just having the drug in their system. Like it's one battle to try to stop and curb the addiction, but it's also a whole other battle going in. Their body's working 2, 3, 4 times as hard as someone without these drugs in their system just to function at a basic level daily.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think, because you think I am somebody, I used to be very judgmental, like, which was a flaw. I have since corrected it. But I used to look and judge, or like hear a story and judge and make my own assumptions based off of what I think I know. And it's like,
which by the way would have been fair for
Right.
not being educated or not knowing. We don't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would see someone with an addiction, or anyone would see someone with an addiction, and it's just kind of like, especially the ones that they're not secret. You kind of can see the telltale signs, and it's like, but it's like when you really take in internally what's going on with them, it's so much bigger than, just stop. It's like, there's so many things going on. There's so many imbalances. There's so many changes within the body. It's like, it's really a battle every day.
Yeah.
I feel like quitting and getting better is the last step. There's so many steps before that just to get there.
Yes. It's a very intense process. And I was the same way, you know, walking through Toronto when I was a teenager and seeing people that were asleep on grates with a bottle of whatever beside them. I'd look at them and go like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you, like, you just have to do anything different and things will get better.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been to rehab twice. I've like seen substances take people's lives away from them, make them lose their children, make them make terrible choices. I've seen people die from substances, and it's so much more insidious and difficult and evil than I think people understand until it's right in your face for whatever reason. It's a slow and steady burn for the most part. There's very few people that are just like, I had one shot of whiskey and now I'm an alcoholic. It's a gradual thing. And then all of a sudden, where was the line of like, I was an addict or I wasn't an addict and now I am an addict? Like, where did we cross that line? That line is so broad and vague that we are only able to see it when we're way past it. And that's a really scary thing for the world.
It is. I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. This definitely hits home because I know a lot of moms dealing with sons who are experimenting and doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's got to be so scary.
Right? Especially when you're clueless. Like, and that's why I really wanted to touch on this in this episode, because it's like, as I said, if you knew better, you do better. When you're just there witnessing something, especially with parents from Caribbean descent, people from, just countries not like Canada and the US, just a little bit not used to stuff like this. And now you're seeing it and you're just, so many things are running through your mind. You don't even know where to start. Yep. But why understanding these effects matter, especially for taking better care of ourselves. So for parents of children who are using drugs, experimenting with drugs, for spouses who know nothing about it and now this is coming into their life, why do you think it is important to understand?
That's a good question. It's, I would say that, why is it important to understand? I would say that it isn't necessarily important to understand. I would say that it is more important to learn, to try to learn, but also to understand that shit is crazy right now. Pardon my language. I've figured we can do that here, but it is crazy out there right now, and it has never been like that in any decade previously. Like the 60s and 70s were filled with psychedelics and, smoking weed, and even like the early 2000s were opiates, and like that was slowly coming on to like what was happening in the scene. And it's like full-blown insanity now for a lot of people. And what is normal now comparatively to what was normal for kids back when we were kids, or for generations before, it is absolutely not the same.
Right.
It's very intense, and I think that education and understanding are important, but it can't be expected at this point. I would say that like seeking education on these things is important, especially for parents that are like, my kid's going to high school and I suspect something's going on, or I found some pills and I don't know what they are, like in their backpack or in their bedroom or something like that. Understanding that like it's normal now for like kids to be taking Xanax all the time. Opiates are everywhere. Even like methamphetamine is like very common. A lot of just the amphetamine family, like speed and things like that, are very common. And kids are not thinking of like when I was in high school, buying weed from somebody was like a big deal. And like I knew one person maybe that I could get coke from, like if I really wanted to, but like it was very taboo, and like it was very secret if that was happening.
Yep.
Now it's like weed is not a big deal, and
right, to smoke weed before you needed a drug dealer. Now you don't need one.
Yeah, you don't need it at all. Just everybody has access all the time, and the like availability of everything and the normalization of everything is completely different. Where taking a pill at a party on a Friday is like you're taking one You know, like that's the norm now. Whereas like if when I was 17 and going to parties, if somebody took pills out and said, we're taking this tonight, I know everybody would have scattered. Would have been
Right.
like, absolutely not. What the hell is
Right.
happening here? You know?
That kid is the kid that your parents don't want you around.
Yeah.
Now it's every kid is that kid.
Now everybody, that's normalized for everybody. So I think that's the important thing of safety and understanding that like you can get powders tested, you can get pills tested, you can, you know, if people are going to do things anyways. And I think that's something that a lot of parents really struggle with now. A lot of families that I work with now are really struggling with like, how do I get them to stop? And that's what they come to me with. And it's like, well, you can't.
Right.
You know, when I was 14
Right.
and smoking weed, there was nothing my family could have done to stop
Me as well. It's like, which is scary because then it was okay, it's weed, but it's like now it's like, shoot, this could potentially mess up your future. I need you to pay attention here. And like, especially, you know, I know when we were young, it was like smoking weed and drinking that young is like, yeah, that's not good for your brain because it's developing, but also like it's going to be okay. Every other generation got through it. And like, as long as they're not the burnout out of everybody, then like they're going to be okay. And even if they are the burnout, then there's still a chance, right? Now it's like substance use gets to a certain level. And if it's consistent at all, then that can really screw up brain development and brain chemistry forever. Not just that is the big difference. That is the scary difference. It's like with weed, you can be smoking. My mom was growing up, she was Seventh-day Adventist, so we lived the strict life. Yep. And I was the black sheep, the first one to go out and be like, I'm going to try this. But you know, like with weed, you can go, your views on life change as you live. Of course. Certain things that you're like, I'm going to be doing this forever. Yep. You don't want to do it anymore. You're like, okay. And it's the same thing I feel with weed use. And you get to a certain point where some people are good smoking weed forever and they're fine. It's fine. It's okay. Everything is good. Nothing's wrong. If you want to smoke weed and it works for you, go ahead. Yep. Go ahead. But there's people that get to a place and they're like, you know what? Hey, this is not for me. Whether it's a lifestyle choice, whether it's they have asthma, whether they see that it's affecting them in other ways, they want to play sports, they want to be healthier, whatever. Weed gives you the privilege to change your mind. I feel with other drugs now, it's like you could die. Way before you get the opportunity to even think, hey, this might not be too great for me. Yeah. Hey, life has taught me that I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, you didn't even get there. I know. And you're robbing yourself of the chance to get there because you don't understand that. I feel like if there was I feel like maybe we're not scared anymore. Because I used to be terrified to die. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is wear your seatbelt. I'm that friend. Yeah. We're going to do dangerous things, but we're going to do it safely. Yes. But I feel like nowadays. That's an important friend to have on the crew. Right? Yeah. I feel like nowadays people just don't care. It's like, and I blame that on our current city because there's a lot of depressing shit going on. And if you're not in the best place, I can see why you would feel like that. Yeah. You know what? I don't care. Who cares? I'm going to die of something anyways. I think that's one of the bigger, like if I was to make an argument about another problem in like the city would be that young people have no opportunity. Right. There is nothing available to them where like I'm 35. And I don't have an opportunity to buy a house. Like I do pretty well for myself. It's just like I have a rent controlled apartment. I have no choice but to stay there forever because it's a nice apartment for what I have. It's not even ethical. It's not even a good decision. Even if you could, even if you got an inheritance from your parents, you know what? Here, Alex, here's $1 million. Yep. I still don't think it would be a good choice. I don't think so either. And that's sad because that used to be a goal. Exactly. And so kids now that are like in high school, like prepping to do the next things, like I have like one of my like niches that I work with in my psychotherapy practice is with young people that are transitioning to adulthood. Right. And it is impossible to tell them, well, just go get a job and work hard and everything will be okay, because that's lying to them. Right. Like it's straight up, it can't happen. And so these kids are, you know, that don't have, well, I have an uncle that works at this architecture firm that'll give me this, you know, apprenticeship or whatever. Like if you don't have that like nepotism, like, you know, pathway, going and finding an entry-level job right now, any entry-level job is really difficult. And our market is now bombarded by people coming from other countries and them taking, I used to see teens working at these type of jobs that I see I mean, a job is a job. Congrats to everyone for getting one, but I just
Totally, especially now.
when you take stuff away, it leads, and I feel like that ties right back into the drug problem because now you have free time. Now you're down. You're on social media looking at what everybody else has, and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
This isn't my fault.
And it's depressing. It's got to be so terrible of like seeing other people that are like, oh no, I do have a job. Oh no, I do have a future. Oh no, I do have a pathway. And then being like, my pathway is, if I'm lucky, I get to live with my parents as long as possible, you know, and maybe get a job at some point doing something, maybe, but also like, what direction can you even start in at any point right now? Like Tim Hortons used to be like the entry level job. Not anymore. It isn't.
Right.
It just does not exist. Being a barista, like, you can't be an entry level barista anymore. It just does not happen. And that is scary. It's a terrifying thing for the youth of today. And so it makes sense that when life is that much harder, just on a big macro, like, you know, widespread scale, that the level of coping would be higher. And one of the most effective ways of coping with pain and uncomfortability is using drugs. And it's not the best thing for consequences, but when there isn't education or knowledge around this stuff, and the pain and the uncomfortability is so high that like it kind of doesn't matter. You know, people that have been trying to get a job from like 14 years old and now they're 20 and they still live with their parents and they just have no choice but to keep throwing out resumes and hoping something happens, and something still isn't happening, then like, you know, drugs are cheap now. They're very cheap and accessible and potent.
That is true. But I do want to take that time to also say to the people that are going through stuff like that, when I was a kid, I still am a kid, but when I was a kid, it was so like cookie cutter, like go to school, get good grades, go to college or university, get a good job, that's it. It's like, and that was okay for me, but I don't feel like I had the opportunity to do things that I was really passionate in because I didn't have the time. It's like, I have to do this. But I feel like it does suck that these opportunities that need to be available are not available, but I do encourage people who are in that type of situation or somewhat in that situation. We listen, we don't judge. Take that time to do something that you really want to do and you're scared to do because you have the free time.
I agree.
Go ahead and try it because you have nothing to lose. Even with myself, like I want to do good in school. I want to go and get a good job, but I also am now granted the freedom, in a sense, to try other things because what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst is already happening.
It is.
The worst is already happening. So I say to put some of that energy, even though it does suck, put some of that energy into any other passion that you have, any other thing that you want to try, but you feel like, hey, I don't have enough time, or I have to work too hard on this. You have enough time. You can step out and try something new because what is the worst? There's only good things can come from it. The worst is that it can fail. That's literally the worst. But there's also is good things that can come from that. Usually the best like come up stories are from situations that suck. So, you know,
I very much agree.
I think that is something to add to that. But
I'd also say that with that, because I totally agree with you, like take a chance, go do something you enjoy because why not? I would also say for people that if they're struggling, there's a lot of stigma around asking for help. There are still pathways to do things. You know, it's not impossible to live a life, even though it must feel that way for so many people. There are pathways, and it is not fair to expect everybody, especially when there's so many people that don't have a path, to know what to do with the almost like zero options that are available. But it's almost zero. It's not zero. Reach out for help.
Definitely. I'm definitely big on reaching out for help.
Me too.
Okay. So I have my one final question, which I think is the best question.
Cool.
I love it. I ask everybody that comes on, what is your advice for the girls in Toronto who might be struggling or just need a little motivational boost? I always cater to the girls because I'm a girl's girl. But do you have anything to say? A little motivational boost for them? Anybody trying or doing their own thing or wanting to step out, or or number one, they don't feel like they can do it.
Yeah. I would say that doing things alone and expecting ourselves to do things alone is unfair. And it is not, in my experience, the pathway to success. Finding community, finding people that can help each other is so valuable. We really, like, we're, as human beings, a social creature. And we really thrive when we are with other people and when we are working towards a common goal. And so, if I would say, regardless of what somebody's struggling with, reach out to somebody else and ask for help, or, collaborate in some way. It doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm struggling, what do I do? Please help me. It could be, let's collaborate on something. Let's go have a common goal together of, like, I don't know. I want to do this with my life. Do you want to do that? Let's try to do it together. Two heads is better than one. And I think we are a lot less hard on ourselves when there's other people involved.
Okay. That is great advice. I love that.
Cool.
Well, Professor, that is all the questions that I have for you today. I want to take this time and say thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure having you.
This was great.
And I do want to say, for anybody struggling with trying to stop smoking, there is sun at the end of the path.
Yes.
Don't give up on yourself. It is an uphill battle, but it is definitely possible. And don't be too hard on yourself when you can't do it right away. It's okay.
I agree.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys on the next episode of No Complaints Podcast.